How to shoot a traditional runway. Now, if you have watched all the previous videos, you'll know that I'm talking about me shooting in Estonia for Estonian Fashion Festival, which was an incredible experience. I absolutely loved it. There are 3 different days where there were 3 vastly different runways, but we are now on to the traditional type of runway, the straight up, straight down one. If you want to know about the more alternative, incredible ones, go watch the other videos. I'll link them up here for you to go and watch it as part of like a little mini series. But let's get into it. This one we're going to talk about more about how to shoot on a typical runway, what you can expect, about the etiquette, the unwritten rules. Please understand though that just because these are the rules, it doesn't mean that every single person adheres to the rules, knows the rules. It's kind of just expected. But I will say different countries, different cultures, different everything. There are some things that are done and not done, and I don't know if I saw a lot of videos. So let's just go. Okay. First off, gear, what you gotta have. I am really funny about what kind of gear you take. One, if you don't know, when you go to a traditional runway, you're in the pit, right? Which is the name that is often given to where all the photographers hang out. So all the photographers sort of hang out at the end of the runway, so they're looking down the runway. But the thing is, the primary photographer, so the main guys, if you're shooting fashion, often that'll be like someone from Getty or whoever has got the main spot, right? So they're like straight down the barrel of the runway, and you kind of have to try and get a space in there. Now, you don't have a lot of space for yourself, so I'm going to tell you now, rethink that tripod. A lot of people bring tripods, and I get it, but I'm always a monopod girl. I want as small space taken on the ground as possible. I also take a small low profile backpack. I'm not having a massive backpack. I know some people do. I don't. One, because I don't want to annoy any of my fellow photographers. Two, I don't want the backache. So in my kit, when I'm doing it, I will have a second lens body. Sometimes it depends on what I'm shooting, but I try to take a second lens body. I take my 70 to 200. That is my go-to workhorse. I sometimes take a 24 to 70, which is great if I'm shooting like arrival pictures of guests, like people attending those lovely street style shots. And I might whack in my current love, which is my 40mm for because I shoot Nikon mirrorless. I love this one for backstage, bit more intimate portraits. I take a shit ton of batteries, right? And a lot of fast, and I mean this fast cards, like QD card, whatever it is you're using, fast ones, okay? They're already formatted, they're ready to go. I also take my card reader, my laptop, and its charger, okay? And I have a 14-inch laptop that I chuck in the bag, and because I don't want anything massive, I make sure I take my mobile phone. And one of my top tips, I've said this a few times, is I mean, I have quite a few of these, so I'm going to share them. These, my crossbody bags, okay? So they go across my body, and inside those, I will have charge my batteries and my cards, right? And the reason why I have them in my bag is I don't want to be digging around in my backpack when the show's happening, because I'm going to put the backpack between my feet with my monopod there, and I've got this, and I can just delve in and out, in and out. That's one of my tips, okay? I also have my business cards in there, a pen, and a little tiny notebook, one of those little small ones. Why? Because you never know if you have to take notes on people, and sometimes when you're photographing people, they'll be like, "Hey, can you email me this?" And it's good to take the emails down, okay? Makes you look good. I mean, you don't everyone does it, but it's something that you do. Okay. So when you show up at these shows, you need to look exactly what's in store for you, okay? And people go, well, it's just a runway. No, my darlings, it is not just a runway. You have to think about the pace of this show, right? Some shows are notoriously fast paced, and some do performances. And if you've watched the videos on the other ones, you'll see how different everyone moved around. When it's straight up, straight down runway, you kind of got a little bit of an easier life, but also you got to watch out for the pacing of those models, okay? So I have a really fast shutter speed. I don't shoot anything under 1/250th because I want, is it 1/250? Yeah, because I need to have it sharp. But that, and because runway is often quick, I have this thing like I just, and also it's just a personal preference. Some people shoot less than that. I don't want a hint of blur. Like I need it to be sharp, okay? I mean, on the 7200, I can sometimes shoot at 2.8, but I do go as far as f5.6 depending on the focal point that I need. If you're shooting headshots, 5 or 6, if you do makeup particularly. But I don't shoot super like you're not seeing me shooting at 1.2. I know some people shoot on an 85 and they go to like 1.2. I need that zoom, but I also 2.8 is a nice place for me. I also have noticed when I look back at my images from this runway, my happy focal point was 120 mil. So give you an idea. I'm not at the very end of the capability of my lens. I'm also not at the very beginning of it. When it comes to my ISO, I range between ISO 400 on this shoot and ISO 600, yeah, 500, 500, somewhere there. I didn't have it massive. It was indoor. We had lots of light, and there's a lot of light coming in from one side because of this window that they have there. So it's quite an airy light space, which does help. But often, I'm going to tell you now, my loves, runways are not lit for you, the photographer. They are lit for the audience to enjoy the atmosphere. So you are going to have to get comfortable with that. Another thing is you need to shoot on continuous, okay? Sometimes people recommend the single point, just tracking the eye. Find out what works for you, but find out it fast. You've got to predict the movement, not chase it. So you're going, right, she's about to put her foot down, that's where I'm clicking. You're not going to, oh, she's put her foot down, click. It's kind of like pick up the pace of the model, okay? So you see her lifting her foot up, she goes to put down, that's the shot you need. You don't need to wait till she puts the foot down, then shoot it. So sometimes you're on rapid burst, mate. And I'll be honest, this hand, if this is what you shoot with, will ache. I had it aching on me. Now let's talk about etiquette. Okay. First of all, ideally you should be wearing all black. Now I have got this vibrant hair, but you should all be wearing black. The reason is you are meant to be as least a distraction as possible. Okay, because you don't want to be, if you're caught in someone's pictures, they just kind of, you're just like a shadow. Okay. No flash unless it's been specifically agreed on. You aren't going to be chucking that flash out. And sometimes you will, because not only will it ruin other people's shots, but also you'll see that people in the audience will sometimes have their flash on and they are told off. You do not go to the front of the runway as well. You stay in your space, your little pit, your little thing. You are not allowed to block the audience's view. They are the person that is important. Now, you're getting the images, don't get me wrong, but you cannot block their view. Okay. Now, the same thing goes for you should not block the view of your fellow photographer. Do not get in their shot because you look like an absolute douchebag. It makes for a very uncomfortable pit experience if you start stepping into people's territory. Now, that being said, at this show, you're going to see the main pit photographer, who was part of their media team, decided to take, even though we had the same photo, to sit right at the back of the pit, which did mean there was a lot of space that everyone could have used that was unable for us to use because of his position and we couldn't get in his line of shot. I personally felt that I felt like, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe that's something he had already agreed, but I feel like that kind of, it had the pit been busier, there would have been a lot of angry photographers. I was cool because I could nook in, but I have to say, being that far back in the pit and claiming all that space in front of you as your space and unusable was a little much. But considering there's very few of us in the pit, it was good because the Estonian Fashion Festival limited how many people they let in the pit, and they were just like, do you know what? No, we're not doing this. Now, when you're shooting, you want to be fast, but you don't want to just shoot and pray. You need to pick the peak moments, the turns, the poses, the movement cues. You don't just blindly hold that shutter. One, you'll get a finger ache, you'll have loads of images to edit, and you're just going to be constant noise. Okay, not great. The other one is to think about the shots you're getting. So you ideally want a full body, a 3/4 and a headshot and some accessories, okay? Because you never know who's going to be wanting it. Runway is about the whole ensemble, my darlings, not just the little bits, okay? Now, the goal is to get variety without compromising consistency. So you want to deliver the full photos of the show that show the show in many different ways, and it's not just pretty frames. Now, classic runways aren't easy. They are quite less forgiving because you need to have, typically they want no distractions in the background, so they'll walk up and have the screen or whatever it is at the very top of the runway. That's what they want in cover. Sometimes they will happily accept audience reactions and stuff, so feel free to shoot some of that, but mostly your primary shot is that. So if that model walks down that one outfit and you missed it, that's it, gone, done. Okay, honestly, you got to get the shot. I mean, I don't think people realize just how hard it is to get said shot. It is. It's a difficult thing to get that shot, and you have to time it. And anyway, okay. I feel like when I did this session, I had such a great pit experience. I was completely spoiled. There were lots of people in the pit for me to enjoy and have friends with, and there were people who chanced it. And although I love a chancer, it was quite nice to see that they did kind of remove them or shove them to the side. I also think, I'm going to say, there has been a change in runway photography in recent years, whereas before it's just been none of the blurry background. I feel like people are realizing they need to tell more stories with their photos, so you are seeing a lot more stories, okay? So I hope this has helped you. I don't know if there's many people doing it. I know there's been a few videos on YouTube on this, but there has been free videos to show you different types of of runways. I hope you helped. I'll just say that I deliver all my images to my client in the preference that they want. So that could be anything from Google Drive to Pixie which is something I use to deliver most of my images anyway. But it was really easy to do. Another thing, try and set up a Google alert for your name, because most of the time you won't get told when your work's been published. So keep a Google alert for your name and maybe some slight variations on your name. So sometimes my surname is spelt wrong, or even my first name. So I have a few Google alerts of that, and I found my work published in other places by the company. So that's really cool. It's just a top tip for you. Anyway, I hope this has helped. You've enjoyed all these videos, and maybe I'll do some more where you can see some more behind the scenes of what I actually get up to. But until then, have fun and check out the other videos if you haven't. If you haven't, I'm glad that you're here watching this one. Don't forget, I have a podcast that you can listen to behind the scenes and some insights, and there's some sort of collabs I've done with people. But until next time, my darlings, take care of you.